welcome to the Rocking and Derrick Show. If you like our interviews, please visit our website, rockingandderrickshow.com, and visit our photo and video galleries. Today, we're at the Ultimate Climbing Gym at Tumblebees. We're here with
Josh.
Who does?
Climbing.
How long have you been climbing?
Since 1986.
How long have you worked at Tumblebees?
Since 1996. As soon as I turned 16.
Do you like working here?
I do. Every day is a little different, and I like helping people and working with kids. So it makes my job very fun.
Do you where do you climb? Where does it begin and where does it stop? Do you do all rocks, or do you just do not whether you rock?
So I started outside because there weren't many indoor gyms. So the rules for indoor and outdoor climbing are totally different. Inside you have tape that tells you where to start and where to finish, and outside it's basically natural features, like you stop at a ledge and you start at a ledge, or it'll just be wherever the anchors are, wherever they could potentially keep you safe.
So is there different sections here?
There is. Here at Tumblebees we have 3 different sections. The room we're in now is what's called the Boulder Cave, which means you don't need a rope, you don't need a harness, it's low to the ground. And then in the main room we have top roping, which is your safest form of climb. That's what you guys did today, where the rope's above your head at all times. And then we also have what's called sport climbing, which is a lot more dangerous, requires a lot more experience, but it's also a lot more fun.
What is the tallest wall or mountain you've climbed?
The tallest I've done in one pitch is 600 feet.
Do you have an is this local?
Yeah, this is local. Tumblebees started with gymnastics, and it's been in Greensboro its entire lifespan, basically. And when they started climbing, they started here at this gym. It was a pretty unknown sport at the time. It was one of the first gyms on the East Coast.
So do you climb for the fun of it, or do you do it as a profession, or?
So I started doing it for the fun of it because I wasn't good at any other sports. So I was bound to find something that worked for me. Once I got into it, though, I saw the potential to make a career out of it. And I really enjoyed setting routes, which is probably one of the coolest things about climbing, is putting the holds up. There's a lot of technique and mental clarity that goes into it. You have to think about everything that goes on the wall and pre-plan it. So that's a really cool part of it. That's probably why I still do it.
So it's your hobby?
It is, yeah. It's definitely a hobby, and it's nice to have a hobby that's also exercise, because then you don't have to worry about going to the gym, at the end of the day.
Have you ever helped make a course?
Oh yeah, we do that all the time. We have people on staff here that's their main job. They're called route setters. But as a manager, I still like to kind of sneak off and help them out occasionally with that.
Is there any recent course that you made?
Yeah, the most recent are on the wall behind me back there. I tend to set stuff that's a little bit more beginner friendly, just because I remember how hard it is to start in this sport. So a lot of the easier things you see, I've had some influence on.
Do a lot of professionals come here to practice?
You get a few from this local area. A lot of professionals, though, they tend to either stay outside or they have home gyms, just because it's what they're looking for is totally different than what most people are looking for. The routes they climb are just so much harder than what we would do. But we do have a new speed climbing area, which is something that is going to be in the Olympics this next go round. So that's something that professionals could practice on, and somebody like you guys that are just coming in for the day could do as well.
Is this your first time getting interviewed?
It's the first one in a while. I've done a couple of news stories. It seems like anytime a climber has an accident, the news always wants to come talk to us. But that's been a couple of years, thankfully. So.
Is it your first time getting interviewed by kids?
It is my first time being interviewed by kids. Yep, and you guys are doing a great job.
Has anybody ever gotten hurt here?
Yes. Unfortunately, this is a sport that requires a lot of rules, and the main thing is you have to double check each other at all times. Most of the injuries we've had are small injuries, but it's because of user negligence. It's something as simple as somebody not putting on their harness correctly after being instructed how to do it, or it'll be like, somebody tripping over a mat, which you think of mats being there for safety, but unfortunately, you trip over them all the time. So most of our injuries are small things that just, would happen anywhere.
Are you the owner of this place?
I'm not. I've been here since the start. I'm the manager. I've seen it grow, seen it expand. So yeah.
Have you ever gotten hurt rock climbing?
I have. I've been hurt a couple of times outside. I've definitely broken a couple of bones, pulled some ligaments. In most cases, it was bouldering though, so that's your low climbing. You don't wear a rope, you don't have a harness, so it's just a matter of falling and catching an ankle on the edge of a mat, or somebody moving the mat as you're going up because they're trying to predict where you're going to fall.
So like, do you have different classes?
We do. We start kids as early as 5, and then we have a class that can take 4-year-olds depending on their size and weight. But we have beginner, intermediate classes, advanced classes. We also have a pre-team and a team. With the team, those kids are competing locally and nationally.
What is the competition like? Like, how do you win a competition?
So there's a couple of different competitions. Your most common is what's called a red point competition, which means that they'll set up between 50 to 100 different routes for you to try. You get as many tries as you want on each one, but you only get points if you get the whole thing all together. And then at the end of the day, they take your 5 high scores and add them together, and that would be your score for the competition.
So like, when you first come here as a person to be here and you join a class, like, is it kind of like regular school, but except you're not learning about school stuff?
Right. Yeah, that's a good question. So when you start, it's just like school. The first day we spend going over rules and what not to do and what's expected of you. And then from that point, it's kind of learning the different terminology so that we communicate better. Because when you're on the wall, when you're up in the air, you don't want somebody giving you these long-winded explanations of what you need to do. So we have like all kinds of grammar that we use and phrases that we use to relay a lot of information very quickly. So we go over that, and then we also go over the technical stuff like how to tie the knot, how to put on the harness, just how to be a good environmentally sound climber as well.
How much do the classes cost?
Classes are $71 a month, which includes 1 hour once a week of hands-on instruction, and then you also get a membership to the gym. So, I mean, a standalone membership is $60, so you're basically paying $11 to get 4 hours of instruction. So it's a really good deal.
How many classes can you come to?
So we recommend with most people that they just do 1 class a week and then use that membership to come in other times during the week.
Do you teach any of the classes?
I do, yep. I teach some. We also have Chesed that teaches some, and Christian. All of our instructors are great. They all climb themselves, so they know exactly what they're doing. It's not like when you go to some places and you have somebody telling you what to do, and you kind of get the feeling that they haven't done it themselves. All of our instructors actually climb.
What does ATW stand for?
ATW, so that's the infamous route in this room. It's called Around the World. It starts on one side of the room and goes all the way around the outside. And it used to even go into the other room. So it's 80 feet of climbing, or 80 yards of climbing. So it's the longest route we offer. And it's usually only about 10 feet off the ground at all times. So it gives you an opportunity to try to see how far you can go, but also know that at any time you can just step off it and get started again.
What is the hardest course in here?
The hardest we have in here right now is a V10, which the scale goes from V0 to V16. Pretty much anything 12 and up is just so painful that if we put it up, nobody's going to want to try it anyways. So V10 it's something that some of our team kids are able to try, and some of them have actually almost done the 10. But it's also at that level where it's not going to see a whole lot of usage just because of how hard it is.
Do you think you'll be doing this in the next 2 or 3 years?
I think so. It's one of those sports that you can stick with for life. We have members here that are in their 60s and still climbing. So I'm hoping I'm going to be able to, still enjoy it years from now, 10, 15 years from now.
Would you want to make like multiple Tumblebees?
Absolutely. The whole reason I got involved with this sport is to help kids build their confidence, and adults. And if the way we can help other people do that is by having multiple locations, I would be all for it.
So, is this the only one you have so far?
This is the only one we have so far, yep.
How can people get in contact with you?
So we have a really great website, which is theultimateclimbinggym.com. That has all our basic information along with online waivers, or they can just give us a call here at the gym. It's 336-550-4107, and we'll be happy to answer any questions they might have.
In your own words, what advice would you give the kids?
One, beg your mom and dad to bring you here, because once you're here, you'll be hooked on it. And two is just a lot of people think you have to be really strong to do this, so they try to pull with their arms. As a kid, your balance is so great that if you just learn to push with your feet, you're going to run circles around adults.
Well, that's it for today, guys. Be sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and if you like our interview and you want to become a sponsor, go to our website, rockyderrickshow.com. Goodbye.